This is Robert Merce for Conman here at the Fantasia International Film Festival, and I'm here with Lloyd Kaufman, the figurehead of Troma Entertainment and the director of Return of Nuke Em High, which is being shown here at the festival. And I'm also here with the star of Return to Nuke Em High, Catherine Corcoran. How are you doing today, miss?
Oh, I'm doing great. Really enjoying the festival. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. The selection has been wonderful, so I'm good.
And you, Mr. Kaufman?
Well, Fantasia is the best film festival. Mitch Davis is the best curator. I've been here since Romeo and Juliet, which was shown in the Imperial Cinema, and always every film that Mitch selects for Fantasia is always worthwhile. No matter what you see, you know you're going to have an experience that you will not soon forget.
Yeah.
And Return to Nuke Em High was an experience that we will never forget because Volume 1 is being shown tonight, and Volume 2 is almost completed.
Yeah.
We're all familiar with the Nuke Em High series. Why, after so much time, return to Nuke Em High?
Very good question, Robert. Many of the big shots now in Hollywood used to either work for Troma or they grew up with Troma movies. And one of those powerful people was a fan of Troma and asked if we thought about remaking Class of Nuke Em High because Mother's Day has been remade. It was shot here in Canada, oddly enough. It was remade by Brett Ratner, a big budget remake of Mother's Day, and now Toxic Avenger is being remade by Akiva Goldsman, they're going to have a $200 million budget, and Stephen Pink will direct that. He's a big director of Hot Tub Time Machine and things like that. And now this guy Kevin Kasha at Starz said, "Why don't you remake?" And they let me direct it. So although it's a very small budget, that was the one problem. Very, very small budget. So.
And that's nothing unusual for you, right?
No, that's what we do, but we have total freedom. So
Yeah.
yes, we have to sleep on the floor, and Katie and Asta, and you're going to meet about 18 of the cast and crew. They are coming on a school bus, driving themselves here, just to see you and see Mitch and see what a great festival this is. So Asta and Katie created some wonderful, wonderful relationship in this movie, and some amazing cinematic moments in Volume 1, and then in Volume 2 it gets even better from the point of view of the love story. We know there's going to be plenty of sex and violence and monsters and mutations and blood and farts, but the core and bloody farts. But the core of this film is Katie and Asta's Chrissy and Lauren relationship, and you guys
We're really proud of it.
you did a wonderful job. You should talk a bit about how you and Asta created
Well, yeah, I totally could. I've said this to other people, and I mean, when we were investigating these characters, we wanted it to be a believable love story. We were really passionate about that. We were going to show in this genre and in a high school setting a lesbian relationship. We wanted it to be as real as we could possibly make it, and so we pushed for that throughout the entire process. And what we came to realize was that the story itself is about acceptance, and it's about appreciating who you are and embracing who you are. The protagonists in the story, Chrissy and Lauren, are the only ones who thrive because in a community where everyone is mutating, and the tormented group of kids, the Glee Club, are becoming the tormentors, and even further than that, there's a character that takes it a step further. The only people who do thrive and can prevail in this culture are the two who embrace each other and love each other and for who they are naturally. So it's a really beautiful underlying message that we have, and we're really proud as a cast and crew that we were able to do that while we pushed the story. It has its political themes, it has its social themes, but at the end of the day, that's the real truth to it, and that's really beautiful. We're really proud of that.
And you should be.
Can you please tell our audience what they can look forward to in this new installment?
Well, it's a very entertaining film. You will see a lot of callbacks to the original Class of Nuke Em High. The Troma magic is there, the energy, the amazing special effects. the posters that are
The
animated.
posters?
They're animated posters. That's very hard to do, you know. It's
And to get
don't-
that effect, for it to fall at that,
George
moment.
Lucas would love to know how we did that. So I think the most important thing is you'll have a good time and you'll come away from Return to Nuke Em High with some thoughts, some interesting. You'll be changed. You'll have a different. It'll change you just a bit.
That's what good cinema does. Is it leaves you with this change, this reflective quality, and I think it does. It's not just sex and gore for the sake of sex and gore. I mean, it has this underlying message, and it talks about, it makes political commentary, makes social commentary, and it forces you to reevaluate what you're doing and what you're looking at, what you're watching in the society that you live in, and draw parallels and things. And we hope that people can walk away with that sense of understanding. It's entertainment, it's silly, it's over the top, but it's for intelligent people. It's intelligent humor, so it's very cool.
Well, Troma Entertainment has come a long way in its 40 years. What was it like at the beginning of Troma Entertainment?
Well, I think at the beginning it was a bit more difficult. We were back in the 70s, so a lot of what Michael Herz and I wanted to do was not understood by young people. Also, we didn't have a track record, so I was the same age as the actors, so the actors in some cases, why is he directing? Why aren't I directing? He doesn't know what he's doing. When we made Squeeze Play, I had fights with the actors. They didn't want to listen to me, and why should they? So now the actors are willing to listen, and they also see there's a body of work, and that we're serious about what we're doing, and that we're not just schlockmeisters. In fact, I resent that fact that people call us schlockmeisters. We're not. We're artists, and we make Troma movies. And whether you may not think they're art, but they're certainly unique, and they have been a huge influence on everyone from Trey Parker and Matt Stone with South Park to Peter Jackson,
Tarantino.
Takashi Miike, all over the world. These guys, Gaspar Noé. Even Cronenberg, who influenced us, but he's a fan. In other words, we're very serious about what we do. We don't take ourselves seriously, but indeed,
the art and the film that we make, we take very seriously. And I mean, that's what real artists do. If you think about it, we don't just, real artists don't go out with the idea just to entertain people. And real artists push boundaries. They have silly jokes. They have vulgar jokes. I just read Thornton Wilder's Skin of Our Teeth, and they make a joke about milking the mammoth. I don't know how you can get more Troma than that, right there, and that's considered one of the greatest playwrights of all time. So. And
Thornton Wilder, we are criticized for breaking the fourth wall.
He did all the time.
Yeah, that was his big deal. Brecht broke, but the ignoramuses, they never heard of Bertolt Brecht. They never heard of Andy Warhol. They never heard of Thornton Wilder. They haven't. They're idiots. They're stupid. The ones who criticize us, they are stupid. And the intelligent, Roger Ebert, the New York Times, you guys.
Time Magazine.
Yeah, Time Magazine. Time Magazine didn't always get us. They get us now. Yeah, they didn't get us at the beginning. But people ask about Volume 1 and Volume 2. How interesting is that? To have a movie. Have you seen the film yet, Return to Nuke Em High?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Well, maybe you'll come tonight. But it's a cliffhanger. It's Volume 2 will continue, similar to Kill Bill. And it's not a new thing for us, the Toxic Avenger. Here's the Toxie right here. Toxie is the only superhero who gets older in each movie. The story continues in each film. And in Toxic Avenger Part 1, he's an adolescent trying to find his identity. In Part 4, he and his significant other have had 2 children, 2 babies. And in Part 5, which we are writing now, his twins have grown into adolescents who must face the problems of puberty and things of that nature. So we have. It's not the first time we've had a continuing story, Return to Nuke Em High. We have done it before, but this one is more powerful because Part 1 truly has a cliffhanger.
They always make references epic works of art as well. I mean, we make a reference to Death of a Salesman in this film. We talk about Gertrude Stein. In the original Class of Nuke Em High is poking fun of the reefer madness movement in cinema and what that did, and the idea of it will over-sexualize you. It will make you a vagrant. What is the word? Whatever. Vagrant. A pervert. Same. No, they. But yet, we call attention to that, and us screening it, us wanting it to be in 2 volumes and wanting it to be able to be screened as a double feature is an homage to drive-in B movies, of which the B movie world has embraced us, so wonderfully. You can't look at this and not see the parallels and not see the intelligence there. And if you don't, that's purely because either A, you don't understand it and you haven't watched and haven't observed, or B, you don't know the references to begin with.
Very true. Yep. People who see our movies like them generally. They're always pleasantly surprised. I think most of the flack we get is from people who haven't seen them. Just this legend of Troma, throwing blood on people or whatever. It's more, they just have this idea of the form of it, or they've seen some clips, or they haven't. If they've seen the whole movie, very seldom do people have anything but good things to say. I mean, Woody Allen said the same thing.
Yeah, somebody recently asked me, how are you planning on getting people who aren't Troma fans to see the film? And I said, well, I would think that anybody who's a fan of cinema in general would want to see the film. If it's a love story. It has that epicness. It's a story about people in extreme circumstances. It has comedy. It's terrifying at times. It's got something for everyone. It really is. So if you like the cinema for whatever reason, you will like Troma. You will like something about these films, especially about Return to Nuke Em High.
Troma Entertainment, and probably this film also, is known for its graphic violence and sexuality. What is it like to film these scenes behind the camera in real life?
They are scenes that are highly prepared and very stressful, and you have to do a lot of pre-production to get what you want. We have a certain kind of cartoonish violence that tends to make a statement. In other words, we've got death by lactating breasts in Return to Nuke Em High Part 1. And it sounds so flip, but there's all sorts of overtones.
Such a feminist empowerment overtone there, that she develops, and her sexuality is what empowers her, and that's the character of Lauren. That's what happens. She's very shut off. She's very closed, and she embraces who she is, and as a woman, and becomes this powerhouse. She embraces her inner badass. A little bit.
Whole making of that, just the creation of the special effects. There was trial and error. They had to make them, and it didn't work. And we filmed. All the special effects have to be filmed on video to show that they really work. You can't just get to the set and stand around picking your nose while the person whose hand is trembling. Well, let's see, this wire and this tube and this milk didn't work, and it's too thick and it's sticking, and so there were many. That's very stressful.
Yeah.
And same with any kind of violence. If you're going to use squibs, how do you know the squib isn't going to blow somebody's heart out or something? It's all so.
It's so planned and so rehearsed.
And extremely stressful. It's really, is it going to work? That's I think has a lot to do with when anything that involves special effects or blood or monsters, or is it going to look stupid? Is it going to look, or is it going to look stupid in the right way or stupid in the wrong way? It's not something that is that is taken casually. It's very serious work.
You're very strategic in how, as a director, how you choose to shoot those scenes. You specifically knocked any of the scenes with major nudity out of the way from the very beginning. So there's no time for you to be awkward and think about it. You're just thrust in and you do it, and that's what makes it great. Is you're just all right, let's get this done, let's do it. And it brings everyone together too, because even we had some the special effects scenes, the heavy ones were spread out, but every day had something major with special effects in it. it brings you together a little bit because you're in vulnerable positions, whether it's physically you are nude on camera and you are physically vulnerable, or whether it's, you know, you've created this machine that may or may not work, this, you know, idea that may or may not work. It brings you together because everyone wants it to work and everyone wants it to be beautiful, and it creates this camaraderie. It's very ingenious to do it that way, you know.
You and Troma Entertainment is very outspoken on independent media. What is it like being a truly independent film studio? And what are its challenges?
Well, the biggest challenge is how do you get out to to an audience? The making of cinema has been democratized so that everybody can make a movie now. You don't really need money. I mean, we use the Arriflex Alexa, which is the best camera there is, so obviously we had to spend money. But you don't need it. You can make a movie for nothing. The problem is that means of distribution are still antiquated. They have not kept up with the democratization of the art form. So as a result, we know that you know, the X-Men Part 2 or 8 or 6, or, you know, we know that Long Ranger came out. We don't know that nobody knows that Return to Nuke Em High even exists. But the one thing we have is word of mouth. So the most difficult thing for us as a studio to survive is to keep going, because no matter what, we have a payroll, we have expenses, we have a building, we have to preserve all of our negatives, and then keep making movies. And how do you get revenue? We don't. Nobody knows we're even around.
We don't make any money.
Yeah, we don't make anything. So that's the issue. And thank you, Fantasia, and thank you to our wonderful cast who worked for virtually nothing. You know, they got paid, but you know, minute amounts. And you know, it's word of mouth, really. Will there be good word of mouth? And if there's good word of mouth, you know, maybe like Terra Firma, our movie that Fantasia showed in 1999 or 2000 or 2001, that movie only recently has made a profit because we have good word of mouth. So, you know, I think that's the issue, is that we make movies we believe in and stay with what we believe. Will our fans like it? And if they do, will they tell their friends? And eventually, we do okay. But we have no money whatsoever to promote our films.
But at the same time, it's kind of liberating because we don't have these big corporate investors who are also backing certain products that we have to please. You know, we can do the art we want to make. And it's liberating, but at the same time very frustrating, you know. And we have a great fan base. We're lucky in that sense, and they've supported us financially. Even they helped us get to the Cannes Film Festival this past year, you know. But
we have a documentary called Occupy Cannes that the fans paid for through Indiegogo, and Asta and Katie put on an art show to get contributions to the Indiegogo Occupy Cannes project, and the fans crowdsourced this documentary.
They send in artwork for free. Artists from all over the place send in their work. Fans send in their work to be auctioned off. It was incredible. So we have this amazing support group, and because of that, because of the camaraderie, we're able to make great work and work that we're proud of, and they appreciate us for it. But that being said, it's difficult. It's challenging because we can't always get it out there. We don't always have the money to make the film we want to make, you know, and pay the artists who are as talented as they are the money that they're deserved, you know.
And we have no money to promote it. So people, I'm running into people at Cannes. We were there. People didn't know Troma's still around, you know. And in a fair world, Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead would have been a huge hit. It's a good film. It's a great film. And the guys who made Crank and Gamer, Neveldine and Taylor, they've said it to me numerous times. I'm in their films, and they're big Troma fans. And in fact, Neveldine is in. You'll see him in Volume 1. But every time they see me, they say, Poultrygeist was a great movie. In a fair world, that would have been a $100 million grossing film. But how can we?
The promotion.
Yeah, and Rupert Murdoch controls all the newspapers, all the TV, all the. You know, you guys are interested, but unfortunately, you guys are not. You know, you're not Jimmy Kimmel. You know.
Well, we appreciate it because we think you're a little bit more fun, a little bit better.
Sure do,
we like
yeah.
your genuine enthusiasm.
And we wouldn't be here without you.
We're not Jimmy Kimmel, but we have high hopes of one day getting there.
So yeah, one day.
Wonderful.
And you'll still have us then, we hope.
That's
We
right.
hope you'll still like us
you
then.
don't throw us away
If
like
we
an
like,
old
you'll
glove.
still like us then.
Yeah, we'll see.
You've written several books on making independent media. What essential piece of advice can you give our audience for when they want to make their own film or other piece of entertainment?
I would say, to thine own self be true, a phrase coined by one William Shakespeare, who wrote, as you know, the best-selling book, 101 Money-Making Screenplay Ideas, otherwise known as Hamlet. What about you, Katie Cochran? What would be your advice to young people who want to make some art?
I would say stay true to yourself and continue to push for the work that you are proud of and that you're passionate of, and know that you may never get the credit or the money that you probably deserve, but that you are making a huge difference in the lives of people and just making the work you want to make.
Very well said.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope the screening of Return to Nuke Em High goes extremely well.
Thank you. So do we.
Yeah, I think you'll be pleased, Robert, as a
I
longtime
hope
fan.
I hope you guys will like it. We really do. You'll have to let us know.